KEAN 105 is today's best country. Welcome into the afternoon show. Super Dave here, joined by a gentleman who is just about to do some big things. And I say this because I just got to listen to his brand new album that hits tomorrow, Luck and Desire. It is Josh Grider joining us on the afternoon show. How you doing, Josh?
I'm fine and dandy. How y'all doing?
Doing fantastic. I can actually hear a smile in your voice right now, if that makes any sense. You're excited about this, aren't you?
I'm pumped. I really am. I couldn't be prouder of this record, and it's finally time to share it with everybody. We recorded it late last year, so I've kind of been watching it come together, and it's finally just exactly the way I want it to be, and it's time to put it out there for everybody to hear.
This is a solid cover-to-cover album. Did you feel like something special was happening when you were putting it all together?
I really did, man. Once we got in there and started tracking it, and I started hearing it come together, it was like, all right, yeah, this is feeling good. And we went in and we actually, there's 12 full songs on the record, and we tracked 16. So I knew that there was a couple that may or may not make, the cut. Mm-hmm. But from those 16 that we cut, they had originally said, let's just pick 10. And I was like, there's no way I can pick 10. Mm-hmm. We got way more than 10 songs. And it's a very intentional album, though. I've been writing, it's been a long time since I've put a full-length album out, and I think, I don't know, it's intentional. Every song has its place and its purpose on the album, and it's all reflective of me personally or musically, and I hope that all that comes through when you hear it. And again, if you don't hear all that, that's fine, because I think the songs stand on their own, just, song after song as their own little works. They work together and they work independently.
Do you think that it's safe to say that this is your most country effort? I could agree with that. I mean, with a couple exceptions, but it's pretty country. There's I took a pretty big detour from country there when I had the Josh Grider trio there for a little while. We were a little alt. We were kind of on the fringes. So a little, really, come on.
A return to what I grew up on, which is solid country music.
One of my favorites is like right near the middle of the album on vinyl is really kind of a throwback. It takes you back to, the way that things were growing up, and it kind of hits on your influences as well. That must have been a fun song to put together there.
Man, it was. It was a trip. I had the idea. I wanted to write vinyl. I just thought it was such a cool thing, and I just gotten a record player, and I grew up listening to my dad's vinyl and stuff, and I knew the record, but I was trying to think of other things vinyl, try to be crafty with it a little bit. And I thought of the vinyl seats, because I drive this old Suburban, the Honey Badger. Some people have seen pictures. I have a T-shirt. Anyway, it's got vinyl seats, and they get so hot, and
right.
So I kind of had that idea. And then my friend Greg Becker that I wrote the song with, he was like, well, what about vinyl floors, man? Did you grow up on those? And I was like, oh, of course, vinyl floors. So it was kind of fun to use that device through that song, and man, it's been getting great response. And it's a leading contender for second single, I'll tell you that.
Oh, really? That was going to be one of my questions there, so we knocked that one out. A leading contender. And, of course, the first single, White Van, it's got to be doing everything that you could have possibly hoped it would on Texas charts. I mean, it came in, number 4 now this week, right?
It did.
With a bullet.
I love it when a plan comes together, and it seems like it's happened so few times in my life, but I am in the midst of a plan coming together. The single is peaking, and the record is coming out all at the same time, just like it was ordained or something. It's been a really exciting year. Personally and professionally. We moved back to Texas from Nashville earlier this year. We had a baby was born. My wife had our second son was born, and now we get to deliver this record into the world tomorrow. So I couldn't be more fired up.
Now, talk a little bit about your friend who produced the album. Trent Willmon speak to his talents, if you will, for just a moment.
Well, he's just a snake wrangling West Texas cowboy. Trent is one of a kind, to say the least. He and I became friends shortly after I moved up to Nashville. We met through a mutual acquaintance, and we were co-writers. We would just, he was a guy that I'd write songs with, and we ended up getting signed to the same publishing company. And then it came time to do my first EP, the last EP that we did, the Getting There. Mm-hmm. And man, it came together so fast, and man, we just pulled it off almost in the blink of an eye between deciding to record and get the band. It worked so good for me. I had 3 number ones off of that EP, and for once in my life, I when something was going right, I didn't shoot myself in the foot and totally change directions. I said, man, that worked perfect. Let's do that again. So we had a lot more time this time in picking songs and picking our band and putting the whole thing together. And he is artist, songwriter, producer. Man, he's a triple threat there for sure.
Mm-hmm. I got one more person that I'd like you to talk up and take the opportunity to do so. It's a young lady that you do a duet with on the album, Skin and Bone. It also happens to be your wife, Kristi.
Yeah.
She's unbelievable. You don't have to look very far to be able to get somebody to duet with you, huh?
That is unbelievable. Is as accurate as you can be, man. I met her like the 3rd day of living in Texas in college, and we were friends for a long time before we dated and, ended up getting married. But her talent is unbelievable. I tell everybody I'm about the 3rd or 4th best singer in my whole house. Between the boys and my wife, man, there's a lot of talent in our house, and Kristi she's truly one of the finest singers I know, and I'm so glad we got to do. We've done some duets before, but I'm so glad that she's on this record because I think this record's going to get more attention than probably anything I've done up to now. And for her to be showcased on there, I mean, she sang a lot of the background harmonies, but for her to have that duet, it's really cool because I tell people all the time that she's great, but, when it's the husband talking about a wife, people don't know, oh, you just saying that, just because. But no, it's for real. She's one bad mamma jamma, and she got to show off there on the record on that duet. It was perfect. I couldn't think of anybody else. Somebody asked me, well, that's interesting that you chose your wife and not, maybe a higher profile female singer or whatever. And I was like, have you heard that song? I'm not going to sing that song with any other woman than the woman I've been married to for 9 years that can sing better than pretty much any other girl I know. It's got to be her.
Yeah, no brainer then, huh? All right.
No brainer at all.
Yeah, Josh Grider joining us, talking about Luck and Desire. That is the new CD that comes out tomorrow. And I'm taking a listen to it, and I'm saying, man, get in line right now. It is a spectacular work of art. We've already seen evidence of that with White Van, but whatever you follow up with, and I'm saying this, I'm getting ready to put up a CD review online at KEANradio.com, and I'm basically allude to it right there. There's not a dud on the album, first of all, and second of all, I think you could probably hear pretty much anything on the radio. Whatever you put out there is going to do well for you. Do you feel that way too? I mean, is it going to be hard to pick that second single?
It's so hard. You have no idea, Dave. It is from picking songs has been the hardest thing of all of this. From picking what made the record, there's 5 or 10 songs that I can play you that I think you'd say, man, that could have easily been on the record, and they could have been. I had so many songs to choose from there. And then it was choosing the first single, and now it's choosing the second single. I love so many of them for so many different reasons. I don't know. I guess off the record when we get off the air, you can tell me what you think the next one ought to be. Because I'm honestly trying to ask people because I can see it going a lot of ways.
All right. Well, you know what? I love On Vinyl, and I'm not going to tell you to pick that for a single at all. But one of the other ones, just one other song that I'd like you to address is probably the most emotional. I mean, I wanted to cry my eyes out listening to High Enough.
Yep.
Man, that's got to come from deep inside you to be able to, to even just be able to sing that song.
Yeah, man, that's for real. And when you talk about this being a country record, yeah, that's a country song. You know what I mean? It's short, it's to the point, and it's about the love and the loss,
Mm-hmm.
I think everybody's getting over, something. Everybody's experienced loss, whether it's the love or somebody in your family losing somebody. There's just, and it hurts, So I had that idea, and it was actually the first song that Adam Hood and I wrote together. Adam has been a friend for a long time, and I sat down and talked to him about that, and he had recently gone through some stuff to where he could kind of relate to that, and and we got that song, and I love that song. It's actually the oldest song on the record.
Huh.
I've had it for a while and just not able to get it out, but I was so glad that I had this project and that it fit as well as it did right there in this project.
Yeah, you got to feel like it even adds a dimension to the album with, you know, with all of the completeness that it is. I mean, it just gives it just like, I guess, an extra bit of texture. Is that a good way of putting it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, yes. Yeah, we cover a lot of ground. I mean, it's a wide album. I'll say that. It's not just one. I mean, the unifying thing in it is me, you know, and I wrote all but one of the songs on there.
Right.
And my hand in writing, you know, all but one of the songs. But High Enough definitely covers that the more classic country stuff, you know, that I was raised on and that is still very near and dear to my heart. That kind of covers that base.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, congratulations on it. I know that you're real busy talking with knuckleheads like me about the new album, and with good reason, with a big old smile on your face. I thank you for taking some time and spend with us here on the KEAN 105 Afternoon Show, talking Luck and Desire.
Tomorrow, you know, you got your iTunes and your Amazon, or however you like to get your digital, or we'll mail you one right from the website or Lone Star Music. There's lots of opportunities to get one, so I hope tomorrow everybody goes out and gets a copy of Luck and Desire, and I'm sure proud of it, and I can't wait to share it with everybody.
Every reason to be excited about it. Thanks again for talking about it here, Josh Grider, and all the best to you. Next time you're in Abilene, stop by, pay us a visit here in studio. All right, brother?
You bet. I look forward to seeing you guys. Thanks for all the support over the years, and let's just keep going.
There we go. Josh Grider, take care, my friend.
You bet. Adios.